At 19 past this morning, a very busy day for Capitol Hill. Lawmakers are convening to hash out the details of the government's $700 billion bailout plan for Wall Street and Main Street. Minnesota Congresswoman Michele Bachmann is a Republican member of the Financial Services Committee, and she joins us from Capitol Hill. A very good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're very glad you're here. I understand that you wrote in an editorial in the Minneapolis-St. Paul Star-Tribune this week, and in this editorial you wrote, every American who has played it safe and smart to avoid debt is being asked to spend the rest of his or her life paying off the debts of Washington and Wall Street. With that in mind, is there anything that you agree with about the current bailout proposal as it stands right now? And if not, or even if you do agree with parts of it, what are your remaining bones of contention with it?
Well, I don't agree that the American taxpayer should be on the hook for $700 billion of bailout. This is a problem that Congress created by creating both Fannie and Freddie. Those are the big private companies that Washington, D.C. guarantees the risk against that purchase mortgage-backed securities. Congress created that entity, but they also created something called the Community Reinvestment Act, and that law forces banks under penalty of fines and lawsuits to lower their lending standards to people, and that created all of this very bad toxic paper. Congress created this problem, so why should the American taxpayer have to do this bailout? I think it's important that on Wall Street, the companies that purchased this paper, sold this paper, they could buy an insurance system so that the people on Wall Street can bail themselves out. They do have capital. They do have adequate backing. We believe that Wall Street should bail themselves out because they're adequately capitalized, not the American taxpayer.
Okay, in this op-ed, another quote from this, we must not just stick a $1 trillion Band-Aid on the problem. We must examine the root causes and seek to address the core issues. Can you give me some specifics there? I mean, you just were talking about it in generalities, but in your mind, what are the root core issues that led to this financial turmoil?
Well, the root core issues that led to this is the fact that government took over the risk. If you have a private company, they can roll the dice and make any decision if they want if they don't have to pay the price. That's what happened with Freddie and Fannie. What we have to do is make sure that government never again takes the risk for a private company. Number one, we need to make sure that not one shareholder makes one dime off of this deal. You can't privatize profits and socialize losses. Number two, the federal government's budget should be frozen. You can't ask the taxpayer to pony up $700 billion for a bailout and continue the out-of-control spending that Washington, D.C. is addicted to. And number three, we need to make sure that we have reform so that Freddie and Fannie are sold off like Ma Bell was sold off into Baby Bells. We need to sell off Fannie and Freddie, and the federal government has to get out of that business. Also, we need to repeal the Community Reinvestment Act.
And Representative Bachmann, you may have heard Pat Buchanan a short time ago on this air saying that he wishes John McCain had come on and said, hey, this deal stinks. So my question is, do you agree with that? And if so, is there anything about this deal that you do like? And are Republicans the ones that are holding this deal up?
Republicans agreed to a bill at any time during this week because we're not willing to stick the American taxpayer with this bill. John McCain, to his credit, was very smart and very shrewd. He came back to Washington, D.C. to try and break up the logjam because there was no agreement. John McCain stood behind the House Republicans because he said, I believe in the free market economy. I don't like socialism. That's what this bill is. Barack Obama is in the tank for this bill. He supports a $700 billion bailout. You heard Barack Obama last night say just that. John McCain instead wants to make sure that we continue the American economy by embracing free market principles. That's a distinct difference between Barack Obama and John McCain.
But are you willing to see the general financial system go down the tubes to get a deal?
Oh, goodness, no. No, absolutely not. I mean, we all take this very seriously, and trust me, that's why were up last night. They were up until 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm in my suit, ready to go. We're negotiating all day. We'll stay here as long as we can, but we're not going to give up the general principle that America was founded on, which is free market freedom. That's the word. I mean, the move that the Democrats are proposing right now, together with the Bush administration, is something more akin to what Mexico or France would do. The House Republicans are fighting to keep America free and based on free market principles. And that's what John McCain fought for, too, this week.
All right. Representative from Minnesota, Congresswoman Michele Bachmann, thank you very much for your time. It's a busy day. Thank you for your time.